Welcome to week 3. It's cookie week. We're going to make a beautiful orange almond biscotti. I have all my mise en place set to go, and it is just perfectly done. Thank you, Chef Steven. We're going to start with, I have sifted my dry ingredients. I have my pastry flour, my baking powder, and my cinnamon sifted, and I used a sifter today, not the Carrie Logan sifting method. So I actually did it the real way. I am going to start with my eggs. I have my bowl set down. I'm going to use a paddle attachment because this becomes a very dry cookie dough. Biscotti is a twice baked cookie. It's Italian, and we're going to bake it once, slice it, and then we're going to bake it another time twice. I'm going to get my sugar in here, and I'm going to whip this up with my paddle, and I'm going to put it on a pretty high speed because I'm trying to incorporate some air. Get my mixer up, and we're going to get this guy going. And we're going to whip him around until he's light and yellow in texture and color. And then in probably about 4 minutes I would give it. And then I'll come back and we're going to add our dry and make our cookies. Okay, I think my eggs are ready to go. I've been on about 3.5 minutes and they're light and fluffy in texture. They're exactly where I want them to be. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my melted butter, which I have melted all the way through. It's not smushy but melted. And then I like to add my orange zest now, because if I'm paddling it around, it's going to activate it and add more oils and I think enrich the orange flavor. The beauty of this biscotti is you can make any kind of biscotti. It's a really good base, kind of like I was talking about with the blueberry muffins. We've done hazelnuts in it. We're using almonds today, but really it can be a beautiful biscotti in any flavors that you like. So I'm going to let this guy go around for me. Just incorporate that butter. It's going to kind of tend to go to the bottom of the bowl. We want to let it bring itself up and go around. Next what we're going to do is we're going to add our dry that we've sifted. I have almond flour, which makes it super delicious. I have my dry, and I also have my toasted sliced almonds. Like I said, it doesn't have to be sliced almonds. It can be hazelnuts, anything you want to make it. As long as you know the basic technique of how to create a biscotti. It's a little dicey in the respect that you bake it once. We're going to bake it in log form. We're going to bring it out, we're going to slice it on the bias and rebake it. It's a beautiful coffee cookie. I like to dip them in chocolate, and that chocolate part I like to put in my coffee so it makes it milk up, which makes it delicious. All right, I'm good there, and now I'm going to drop this down. I'm going to add my, let's go flour first, my flour in there. And oh goodness, almost lost it off the bench. Gotta hang on to it. There we go. And I'm going to add my almond flour. I'm going to come in here very gently and start incorporating it. I'm going to get all that in there. Don't leave anything in there. Sometimes it gets stuck. The almond flour is real moist, which adds a really beautiful flavor to the biscotti. Get all that orange zest in there. And I'm going to start adding my nuts, and all this dry is going to incorporate. You're going to hear the mixer be challenged a little, and that's a good sign. We want it to be that. You can see it's going around. It's pulled itself all together. I like to look at my biscotti, and if it's a little too soft, I might add a little bit of bench flour or a little flour in there to make it a little bit stiffer. I think this is pretty spot on. What we're going to do is we're going to pull this off the bench. That's on our next video. We're going to pull this off the bench. We're going to divide it into 4 equal portions. I'm going to show you how we pan it up. That panning is going to allow us to bake a whole log of biscotti, and from there we're going to slice those, and that's how you get the actual shape of the biscotti itself. We're going to look at our biscotti dough. I'm going to get it out of this mixer. If there's a little bit of flour or anything kind of lingering around, I'm going to incorporate it, and I'm going to get this on the bench. Like I said, we're going to divide this dough into 4 equal portions, and I'm going to show you how to form it from there. I want to get everything off of here. That looks really good. Oh, it's so good. Okay, I'm come in here and scrape it real good and get it out of this bowl. You can see here our biscotti dough has come together. And I do have a little flour I want to get incorporated. Like I've always said, I bench with bread flour, so I have a little flour here on the bench for me that I'm going to use, and I'm going to get it out. I'm going to get this biscotti dough out. I don't want to leave anything in the bottom. It's all goodness, and you want to make sure all of it goes into your cookie and your beautiful biscotti. So there, I have scraped my bowl really well. And you can see it might be a little sticky on top, and I'm just going to use my bread flour to go ahead and get it off the bench for myself. I'm going to come in, and you can see the flour really does the work for you. You don't want to stick to it. You never want to stick to your product. So that's why we have flour. And like I said, we always bench with the bread. It's come together really nice. It's a beautiful, you can see a beautiful biscotti dough. What I'm gonna do next, I'm gonna put this on my scale, and I'm gonna figure out my overall total weight. For my total weight, I'm gonna divide that by 4, and I'm gonna come up with 4 equal portions, and then I'm gonna show you how we're gonna shape these biscotti for our first time in the oven.